Hey everyone, this is Brooke with a quick reminder for all my first year applicants, meaning you are a current high school student. The early action deadline is November 1st. If you are a first year applicant and you want to be considered for merit scholarships, make sure to submit your Common App by November 1st at 11:59 p.m. in your time zone. Also remember to select a Viterbi major as your first choice major, so anything beginning with a VSE. We can't wait to see those applications. Now let's get that podcast started.
This is Viterbi Voices.
Coming to you from the University of Southern California, Viterbi School of Engineering.
We're here to give you the inside scoop on research, classes, student life, and so much more.
All of these shared by students, faculty, alumni, and other members of the USC community.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Viterbi Voices. As usual, I'm one of your hosts. My name is Paul Ledesma. I'm the Executive Director of Undergraduate Admission here at the USC Viterbi School of Engineering.
Hello, everyone. I am your other host. My name is Safia Patel, and I'm a senior in computer science and doing my master's in engineering management.
Did you just wake up again, Safia? I mean, come on. This is like 2 weeks in a row. Hi.
No, I actually woke up at 7:30, which is amazing for me. It's just I lost my voice over the weekend, so it's even worse today.
Again, tea, warm beverages.
I've been drinking hot honey water for the last 2 days, but it's just not fully coming back. I don't know what happened.
Oh my God. We got to talk about this podcast voice. Well, let's see if we got someone else here that can help us out with a vibrant, because you come in with the it's nothing negative. You come in with a calming.
Yeah, I'm a different audience. We have best of both worlds.
It works out good, but it makes me feel like I'm supposed to slow down. I don't want to put people to sleep.
I've also been told I talk too fast. So when I'm on the podcast, I try to hey guys,
Here's the best part about the podcast. They can slow it down. They can speed it up. They can do whatever they want. And most people listen to it at sped up rates. So I challenge them. Talk faster and see if they want to speed it up.
Okay, true. I'll do that from now on.
All right. Who else do we have joining us here today?
Hi guys, my name is Ishaani Pradeep. I am a junior studying biomedical engineering with 2 minors, one in cinematic arts and one in the science and management of biomedical therapeutics.
Very cool. And I'm sorry, so many different things you're studying. What was the major again?
The major is biomedical engineering. I forget it too sometimes, honestly.
Well, it's like you went through it so quickly, and then I'm like, all I remember is what you're minoring in. I'm like, that doesn't matter. Okay,
Yeah,
biomedical. Ishaani, and where are you from?
I'm from New Milford, Connecticut. So if you are a Gilmore Girls fan, that is Stars Hollow. If you are not, that's just a random town in West Connecticut.
Wait, I just started rewatching Gilmore Girls because it was the first day it felt like fall outside, and I was like, okay,
it's Gilmore Girls season. It is.
Wait. Okay, so I've heard you say this before, Shani. Help me understand this. You said if you're a Gilmore's Girl fan, or if you understand Gilmore Girls, that is your town?
That is my town. Yeah, it's inspired from my town and the town next to mine. So half the places that they pull, the diner, Luke's Diner, if you know about it, is in my town. But the inn,
cool.
it's
actually called Luke's Diner.
It's called Theo's Diner, but it's in the little corner. It's organized a similar way.
Interesting.
For us, because we've grown up there, it's the old timey diner. Only older people go there. Anytime my mom's like, "Do you want to go to Theo's?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." But my roommate came to visit and she was in love with it. So yeah.
I think that'd be so cute.
Interesting. Yeah. And geographically speaking, Connecticut, so closer to New York, is that where you're the biggest city you would identify with?
So it depends on which part of Connecticut you're from. I'm from Western Connecticut, so I'm 40 minutes from the New York border. I'm probably 25 minutes from New York City. I take a train. It's an hour and a half, maybe.
An hour. Okay.
Yeah,
so bad.
So did you grow up going into the city?
I grew up going to the city a lot. Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of the thing you identify with. You live out in that little town, but if you wanted to go into the city, that's. I was trying to get a sense of where you are.
Yeah, super accessible.
And for all of our Gilmore Girl fans, because I'm sure there's plenty of it, other than it's not Luke's, it's Theo's. Is there anything else you want to get the record straight on your town?
Ooh, so the actual inn
they misrepresent?
Yeah, so our green is like downtown Stars Hollow. We have the gazebo. So a
Mm.
lot of tourists will like, and
No
me and my
way.
friends are
Was it
just like,
always there, or did they build it after the
no, it's
show?
always been there. I think like they
Huh.
came to our town, and Washington, Connecticut is the town next door. And they like picked a couple things. They're like, that's cute. That's very small towny. And they just like put it in the show. And now like me and my friends will be like eating froyo in the gazebo. And like people will be like, hey, can you take our picture, please? Like this is the Stars Hollow gazebo. So yeah,
Because it's filmed at Universal Studios. Like
it is.
all of
It
that
is.
is all of that
Yeah.
is like in the back lot of Universal Studios.
Yeah. The set is like at Universal.
That's why I was so confused. You're like, it Stars Hollow. I'm like, Stars Hollow is over here at Universal
Yeah,
Studios. Like, I don't.
it's so funny because I came in and I saw Star Hollow and I was like, this just isn't the same.
It isn't the same.
Yeah,
Interesting. Wow. Okay,
yeah.
cool. So there actually is a real gazebo
There is a
in
real
that.
gazebo.
Oh
Should
wait,
totally
you've
Wow.
come
seen the
visit, check it out.
Universal set?
I have
You,
not seen the
if you go
Oh,
on
okay,
if you go
okay.
on the tram tour, you go right by it.
exact. No, exactly. People say you just go right by
I don't
it.
think
And
I've
I'm
ever
like,
been on the tram tour in like the day before.
yeah, I need to check it out at one point
Did you
for
just say you
sure.
haven't been on the tram tour since the day before?
No, no, in the day, like in when the light is out.
It's like it's been a
Oh,
long time.
I thought
Yesterday.
this was some sort of new like saying. Like I haven't been on the tram tour since the day before. Like I'm like, what? Day before what? Like yesterday? 2 days ago?
I always wanted to do. Yeah, have you read the book Frindle?
Oh, yes.
No.
Yes.
Basically, I don't remember exactly what
I
happens,
don't remember
but
exactly what happens either.
he like wants to make a new word for pen and he calls it Frindle and he's like really trying to get it to catch on because he's like words are made up. Like I'm just gonna make up
Yeah.
my own word, Frindle.
Yeah.
And after I read that book in like second grade, I was like so convinced I could like start my own saying. And it's never
I
happened.
feel like
So
this has come up multiple times now where you're like trying to get something to catch on the podcast. Like this
no,
is
don't say
that has
that.
happened, right? No, you said this. You're like, hey, I think we're gonna make this happen. You're like, I'm gonna make this phrase happen.
No, I can't do
I
that.
swear that's happened. I
That's so
swear you
embarrassing.
said that.
Um, well,
It
hopefully I caught on by now. Maybe it's so integrated I don't remember that I started it.
no, yes, if you go to Universal Studios and you just do the regular tram tour, it goes through the back
Mm.
lot.
Okay, I'm excited.
And I'm disappointed because I'm of a previous generation and like where they film Back to the Future,
Hmm.
Mm.
the clock tower and the courtyard and all that stuff, that's where they put the gazebo. And that is
I'm
like, so
so
a certain
sorry.
generation, people say, oh my God, it Stars Hollow. I'm like, no, this is Hill
This
Valley
used to
from
be,
Back to the
yeah.
Future because
Mm.
it's the same
Oh,
exact space. And then if you're like really hardcore, it's also where they film Gremlins. And like, that's like the Christmas tree lot and Gremlins. And so it's just like a very specific thing for me, but I get that things move on and they build on. And it's, I'm an old man.
Wait, is it Gilmore Girls set still there? It ended so long
It's
ago.
still there.
Oh, so what's gonna take over
I don't
next?
know. I don't know. But like, yeah, that courtyard, it's like they put a big park and there's like trees and the gazebo and everything. And it's like people are like, oh my God, Gilmore Girls. I'm like, yeah, I've never watched a second of it. No
honestly,
idea
the funny part of it is I
what you're
hadn't watched
talking
a
about.
second of it either. My roommate was like, it's Gilmore Girls season, and I'm not a show person. And she puts it on, and we're like watching it. And I was like, oh my God, this looks like my town. This looks exactly like my town. She's like, where are
No
you
Wait, so you just
from?
way.
recently
I
discovered that this was
just
your
like
town
freshman
and you
year,
grew up
like
there?
second week. Yep. Yep. I
So
didn't
you only
realize
found
why
out
so
2 years
many.
ago.
I found out 2 years ago,
Okay.
and I was like, okay. So I looked up what towns are Gilmore Girls like inspired by, and it said like New Milford, Connecticut, which is where I'm from, and
That's
Washington, Connecticut,
crazy.
and I was like, oh my goodness, because I'm not a show person, so I
Did
had
your
no,
parents know? Did they keep it? Did
no,
they keep this from you?
no. My parents had no. I called my mom and I told her, and
You're gonna
she's
tell her on
like,
her 18th
what?
birthday.
So this show was never on in your household
It was never.
growing up.
We're movie people. We've never been show people. That's
Mm.
why. Like, I just flew right over my head.
Let's unpack this for a minute. You very quickly said we're not show people. You've said that multiple times, and I'm like, wait, so there's like a rule, like you don't watch TV shows?
No, like, oh, let's see. I watched like Disney show. Like, Good Luck Charlie was like my
We're not
house.
show
We're not
people.
show people. I don't know. I feel like our house like has a higher ex attention span for a longer amount of time, but not like a long
Yeah,
term.
Oh,
Like my parents like won't commit to a
I
show.
we're
understand
so
that.
the opposite.
Really?
What?
Wait, do you have older siblings?
I have a younger sister.
Or are you the oldest?
I'm the
Oh,
oldest,
see, I feel
yeah.
like you also had to have older siblings to be watching Gilmore Girls when it came out
I know,
to like keep up with
100%.
it.
I like called my sister and told her,
Yeah,
and
you had
she's
to
like,
be.
"What is that show?" And I was like, "Okay, so no one knew about it."
Interesting. So yeah, you were not in the demographic, and
I
it
was
was not
not.
targeted to people.
Because my
I feel
sister's
like I
eight
feel like
years
there's a
older,
giant
so she had
conspiracy.
all.
They wanted to keep it from you all in New Milford, Connecticut.
I
Like
honestly would
they
believe
blocked it
it.
out of your.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like
Yeah.
in high school, like someone like had to mention it. Like they were definitely
No, no,
gatekeeping it.
people were mentioning it in high school, and I just like
Someone was.
someone was. Yeah. I think it's
'Cause
just
when did this come out? I literally, this is not on my radar. It never has been on my
I
radar.
think
I
it
just know it
started
exists.
airing in 2000.
Oh wow.
Let me double check that.
yeah, it's
Fun
not like
fact.
recent.
Um, Rory Gilmore was a friend of a friend. The actress was a
No
friend of a friend.
way.
And when they
Wow.
filmed scenes at USC,
Hmm.
because I think when she goes to college,
Hmm.
it's USC.
Yeah, it is
Um,
USC.
and when she was on shooting breaks, she hung out in our office and had lunch in the back room there in RTH where you guys have
Like in
breakfast before your events. So I would be back because I used to go to like parties with her and hang out, and every once in a while, and I didn't really know her, but like, hey, what's up? Because I forget her name. It's not Rory Gilmore. Thank you,
Alexis
Alexa.
Bledel.
Hey, how you doing, Alexa? Whatever.
Gotcha,
And then
gotcha.
she'd come by because her friend worked in our office, and so then she sat in our back room, just like snacking on stuff because she wanted to get away from everything, and so she's just like hid
Oh
in
my
her
gosh, I've
office
been in the
while she
same
filmed
room
her
as
college
her.
scenes at USC.
That's crazy.
I
Wow.
just remembered that. I completely forgot about that.
That's so cool. Oh
That's
my
so
gosh.
So that
cool.
was
Wait, I've been at
2006, 2005,
I was like
2006.
near the end of the show. I think the show ran from
Yeah.
2000 to 2007 because it was 8 seasons.
Sounds like that's right. It might be the end of the series.
Wow.
Was anyone else there? Oh my gosh, was Logan Huntsberger there?
You're asking me, this is the amount of detail I have. If I have a story, I tell you the
The
whole story. I
the
don't leave
blonde
things
dude,
out. Well, I did leave a few
the
things out. I
blonde
left out
rich
the
looking one.
parties that we went to, but I had nothing to do with this. I had nothing to do with the campus.
He was like really blonde, rich looking.
Again, I have no idea what you're talking about. I didn't go
Oh,
to the set. I didn't go look at it. I'm just saying that she
it's
hung
fine.
out in her office.
Cool, cool, cool.
Anyway, let's get back on track because that was a lot
Yep.
of Gilmore Girl talk here on Viterbi Voices, the unofficial Gilmore Girls podcast. Turned into a rewatch podcast. Ishaani, you come with us with actual content today in an episode that you have created. Tell us all about what everyone's going to listen to here today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, my podcast is titled MEDesign, Why Does Your Heart Beat for BME? BME, Biomedical Engineering. So, I am talking to some members of MEDesign. So, MEDesign is USC's premier medical device design team. So there's several design teams that encompass this one club. They all target some sort of medical needs-based area. And there's a plethora of different students. I'm working with a mechanical engineer on my team. There's neuroscience individuals, there's people in health and human sciences, but I really wanted to talk to some BMEs or biomedical engineering students that are in med design and talk about how their passion was really fueled through their work in their med design team.
Awesome. Well, let's get right out of the way and hand it right back over to you to talk a little bit more about med design. And we will pick up on the other side of the episode to talk about all other important things Gilmore Girl related, Halloween related, and other assorted nonsense. So we'll see you on the other side of this episode.
Hi, my name is Ishaani Pradeep, and welcome back to another episode of Viterbi Voices. Today, I bring to you members of MEDesign. So this is USC's premier medical device design club. As a club at USC, MEDesign has several biomedical engineering students who find their passion through their work in this club. With me, I have Matthew Lane and Eddie Kim. So to start us off, could you introduce yourself and state a little bit about how long you've been a part of MEDesign and your positions?
Hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Lane, and I'm currently the president of MEDesign. I'm in my third year here at USC, and I've been a part of MEDesign for all 3 of those years.
Hi, my name is Eddie Kim. I'm a junior majoring in biomedical engineering. I'm the treasurer of MEDesign, and I've been a part of MEDesign since the start of my sophomore year, so it's been a little over a year.
Great. Okay, so with MEDesign, there are project teams, and I wanted to ask a little bit about your project team, previous teams that you've worked on in the past, and maybe your favorite team or what you're working on right now.
Yeah, totally. So right now I'm sadly not on a team just because the administrative work to run the club has really been a lot. So I've been kind of doing a lot of work behind the scenes to set up a bunch of different events and speakers and all of that sort of stuff for our club this year. But in the past, I've been on two separate project teams. So in my first year, I was working on a team that was working on a redesign of endotracheal tubes. So essentially, what that is when someone is intubated, so they have to be on a ventilator, which I'm sure everyone has probably heard at least something about during COVID. But more or less, the machine helps to pump oxygen into your lungs if you can't breathe yourself. But how it works is they stick a tube down your throat, which is called an endotracheal tube. And the way it's held in place is through like an inflatable balloon. But there was a lot of problems with bacteria going through those balloons because it's supposed to create an airtight seal with your throat and outside. Anyway, so a lot of bacteria can go through those to cause pneumonia. So more or less what we were doing is working on a redesign to optimize the shape of those endotracheal tubes as well as the pressure inside of the balloons to keep the seal tight on the throat. And then the project I worked on last year was creating like an AI algorithm that could look at ultrasound images of the back in order to detect muscle imbalances that might be leading to muscle related back pain.
Yeah, that's really cool. Where do those projects go? Like the ones in the past? Did they and like how does that process look?
Yeah. So, fortunately, I have a pretty good outlook on everybody's projects, but more or less, a lot of the projects end in 1 year just because a lot of our goal as a club is to really give people like a full view at the design experience. So having year-long projects can be advantageous to that because people get to see the full process from at the beginning of the year looking for new needs and looking for projects areas to going through the design process, and then they get to do it again the next year. But so that's kind of what was the case for my two projects, but a lot of the projects in our club also continue on for multiple years. So right now we actually have two ongoing projects that have been continuing from previous years, which is really great because they can start to look at more complex levels of their design, of testing, and of also starting to look at more like business related concepts and getting their market or projects out to the actual market.
That's so cool. Eddie, what's your team?
So my team this year currently hasn't fully committed to a single need area, but the areas that we're looking into are mammograms, which is the X-rays that's used to examine women's breasts, and we're also looking into healthcare for homeless people. So it's some interesting stuff I'm looking into. Last year, I was part of Team Scope, so we worked on renovating the conventional hysteroscope, which is a medical device used to examine women's uterus. So we try to improve its visibility and usability through like different technologies like AI tumor detection and whatnot. So yeah, it was really interesting to learn about women's health as a man. Yeah.
Did you learn the skills like the machine learning skills because it was a detection software? Did you learn it through your experience with the club, or would you say that you like had those skills before?
I wasn't part of like the software team, so I didn't really get to work on it. But my other team members, they had like previous experiences with MATLAB and stuff. So yeah.
Okay, so you said like you learned it through your experience mostly, and then like other members of your team.
No, I wasn't part of I wasn't part of the software team, but the
Okay.
members who were on the team, they mostly use their experience from like previous classes or like from high school. So yeah, but we're definitely med design as a club. We're definitely holding like workshops to help members learn, pick up some skills like CAD, MATLAB, and whatnot. So yeah.
That's really interesting. So like previous skills that they've had. Are there different people like different, so then you'd say people of different like experiences and like age groups on your team?
Yeah, for sure. There was a person who was really into like robotics or like more hardware stuff, while I personally didn't have experience coming into med design. Like I didn't really have any 3D printing experience or like robotics or whatnot. But yeah, I think this really shows how med design is really open to everyone with like different backgrounds, different majors.
That's really cool. Okay. So, like piggybacking off of that, because we were talking about some skills, what are some skills that like you have learned in med design, or maybe like you have felt like you've taught others, or like you brought to the table, or what are some skills that you like want to learn?
Uh, yeah, you want to start, Eddie?
Yeah, sure. As I said, like I had zero experience with like technical skills, like CAD coming into med design, but I was able to pick up some basic skills through workshops and like working with my teammates who had prior experience. So I still have a long way to go, but now I at least know the very basics. And I also know that we're planning to use the DRB makerspace a lot more this year. So I'm also very excited to learn how to use all the equipment and the basics.
Yeah, you want to share more about the DRB Makerspace? Because I went down there too, and it was like phenomenal. It was like there's so much equipment.
Yeah, I personally haven't gone down there. Like, not, yeah. Matt, do you want to explain more about makerspace?
Yeah, no, totally. I can talk about that, and I can talk a little bit more about our curriculum in general.
Mhm.
So our biomedical engineering building, Denny Research Building, so DRB, which is what we've been talking about, essentially in the basement has what we call the innovation space. And more or less what that is like a small scale medical device manufacturing facility in more, I guess, in a optimistic way of looking at it. And it is really great because we have tons of really amazing equipment down there that is able to do a lot of really cool microfabrication work for a different bunch of different medical device components. So from like basic tools such as 3D printing, we also have a lot more specific tools such as we have like a laser cutter, we have an NC mill, we have all the like normal shop tools that you could normally want, but we do a lot of like molding work and all kinds of stuff down in that space. So it's now been up and running for a little bit, but more this year it's going to be very open to all of the students in the BME department, and that's a resource that we're definitely planning to take advantage of as a club at MedDesign. So one of our big plans actually for the spring semester is bringing all of our club members down into the makerspace in order to do some little projects to help build their technical skills. So, for example, like soldering, just because making circuit boards and soldering the wires onto them is a super important skill for making medical devices, and a couple other different workshop type activities. Um, Another really important thing that I think I've learned through MedDesign has been needs finding, which more or less a lot of other project clubs sort of have ideas of what they want their projects to be at the beginning of the year, but that's not necessarily how MedDesign works. And the reason that we do it the way we do it is we start by finding needs within the medical field so that we can make a real impact. Because when you're creating medical devices, it's really kind of a waste of time to make a new device if nobody needs this device and nobody's going to get this device is not going to help anybody, right? So one of the really important skills that we teach and that I've learned through med design is this whole needs finding process, which is like looking through the literature and also interviewing and talking with clinicians and patients to see really where they're hurting, what they need from us, and what kinds of things that we can engineer in order to build or in order to help them either recover from a disease or make their work or life a little bit easier. So that's one of the, I think, the big, super helpful skills that we teach in med design.
That's really interesting because I feel like that's a lot of hands-on experience that you might not get in your classes. I don't know, like I feel like with BME, there's a lot of you get a lot of technical knowledge in the sense that we like did some machine learning in was it 210, and we're doing like some stats and a lot of like tech work, but I don't know if there's a class. I know senior design obviously has a lot more hands-on stuff, and we did some Arduino in 101, which is BME 101, which is our first like BME class that we take. But like working with hardware and building is something that I think the DRB Makerspace is super excellent for. So really
Yeah,
excited about that.
absolutely.
Yeah. So how has med design impacted your passion for BME? So how would you say that it's either like emphasize the fact that you wanted to stay in the major or just like increase your interest in the subject?
Yeah, I can take this one to start. So sort of my overarching life plan is I'm hoping to attend medical school after undergrad. Um, and to me, BME was kind of a stepping stone. Originally, was sort of a stepping stone along this path. But I think that actually getting to be in med design and experience the type of impact that you can make through creating new med tech and creating new devices for people, or also updating existing devices, has kind of changed my focus and wants to become, or like reasons for wanting to become a doctor, to just beyond wanting to, help patients with existing technologies, but also leverage my experience as a physician and the things that I'm seeing every day in my work into new ways that we can help people or ways that we can solve problems. So I think that the mindset that I've developed through this club is something that's really going to come a long way throughout my career as I become the one that future engineers are asking questions to, you know what I mean? To see what problems me and my patients are facing. And hopefully I can use that mindset to help solve some of those problems as well with my engineering training.
No, that's so great. Just a different perspective. Yeah. Eddie, what about you? What would you say like an impact was?
Well, Sean never really talked about this, but the reason why I joined MEDesign in the first place was because I wanted to gain some hands-on experience, because I noticed that BME majors don't usually do hands-on work until our senior year for our senior design project. So through med design, I was able to like go through the actual stages of the design process that the industry people go through to build a device. So it definitely sparked my interest in medtech, and in the future, I would love to do like internships in the medtech industry, even though I'm a pre-med. So yeah, so for these reasons, I'm really looking forward to start working on our senior design project.
Yeah, no, I'm actually super excited for senior design. Every time I talk to a senior about it, they say it's kind of anyone who's in senior design and also in med design is like it's med design, but honestly more compact. So I think with med design, it's great that you have like some longevity with your project where it's not just like because currently I know the senior design class is in 1 semester. They're looking to change it to 2 semesters. Hopefully that'll change in the future. I think Eddie, by the time that you're a senior, definitely that we're seniors, definitely it's gonna be like um it's gonna be a full year. I talked to Chris about it.
That's what I heard.
Yeah, so that'll be fun and it'll definitely be experience that you still have. But also I thought it was interesting that both of you are like on this like pre-med route and still found like such great experiences through med design. So that's like amazing. What's something that you're gonna take with you possibly onwards? Like what is one thing that you think you'll take with you to like med school? Eddie, if you want to start off.
So like as a doctor, I'll be using a lot of equipment, like medical devices. So I think it'd be valuable to like know like the behind the scenes work that goes on to like develop the actual medical device that we use it on the field. So yeah, I think that's definitely a valuable experience.
Yeah. I think for me, medical technology is always advancing so rapidly. And I think once you've been in the field for a long time, sometimes you can get kind of caught up in your ways. So I think really the biggest thing for me would be in the future trying to do my best to really stay up with technology and incorporate it into the way I treat people, just so that I can give my patients the highest standard of care possible.
That's great. What would you say is like one of your favorite med design memories? Like social, I know that like eBoard has a retreat. What would you say would be like your either top one or top two memories with med design? Because I know it's such a community. I've met some great people like on my team, so.
Yeah, I would say probably my top memory with med design would actually be from over the summer when there's no med design meetings going on. Me and my co-president, his name is Vitter, we were just like going through and planning the curriculum and everything that we were going to do throughout the year. And we have really tried our best. Like I mentioned, we're going to start holding the workshops down in the innovation space in the spring semester. So really talking to the people down in the innovation space and just getting an overall plan for the curriculum that we wanted to present this year was a really exciting thing for both of us, just because, again, there's a lot of really cool stuff that we're trying to implement this year. So working together on that and kind of trying to plan it out to give everyone the best experience possible was honestly a really great time for both of us.
Yeah, that's great. Eddie, what about you? Top one, top two moments?
I would say my favorite memory is the matcha social that we had a few weeks ago. So as a treasurer, I always organize the food for our general meetings and socials and whatnot. And yeah, every time I bring food and talk to different members in our club, it's really nice because our club is really diverse, and just talking to them and getting to know about them, it's a really good, it's a nice memory to have.
Yeah, that was so fun. And I'm glad you guys had like non-dairy options. That was great. It was funny. I like got there and I was like, oh man, like this matcha looks so good, but I can't drink it. But there was an oat milk option. So Eddie, thank you.
Of course.
You said diversity within med design. So what are like some different majors that outside of biomedical engineering? Because I know like there's a mechanical engineer on my team. Like what are some different, like just throw out some majors, doesn't have to be Viterbi, that are like in med design?
Yeah, I mentioned my co-president, Vidur. He's a neuroscience major. A lot of people on our e-board are also not BME majors. There's a psychology major. As you said, Ishaani, there's a couple of mechanical engineers. One of our team leads is an electrical engineer. We've had business majors in the past.
Sorry, so I know a person with an art major in Argentine, so I thought that was really interesting.
Wait, that's really interesting. Art major is
Right.
really cool.
Yeah.
Another experience.
Yeah, there's a couple like health promotion majors as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So yeah, no, we're a very diverse club. And it kind of makes sense because, you know, making new medical devices is not necessarily just biomedical engineering. It's such an interdisciplinary activity that we really actually need people from a bunch of different fields and a bunch of different perspectives to get a really good, true idea of what it is that we're doing.
Yeah, and on like also looking at diversity with age group, there's 2 master students on my team, which is really interesting because they definitely have more technical, like we we're talking about with undergrad BME. I think until senior year, there's definitely less of like a hands-on aspect to it. But with the 2 master students, they bring up like plethora of skills to the table. They're very experienced in CAD machining, and they just like provide advice, and it's kind of just like having like an older mentor, but they're just also on your team. They're like working through the same product together, which is super exciting. I also just realized I didn't like introduce my team at all. I'm gonna do that really quickly. I'm also on a design team in med design, out of prosthetics. It is such a great team. I joined this past semester, and this is one of the, I know Matt mentioned before, but this is one of the teams that was existing previously. So they did have a prototype that they're working with, but we are creating a new prototype based on like feedback, which I think another good thing about med design is through the design process, you obviously receive feedback. And so Dr. Loeb was one of our mentors that gave us feedback on our device. And basically, we're kind of starting from scratch now from his great advice that he provided. But he's so experienced. So we're gonna take anything he says, like, and we're gonna roll with it. So my team has a mechanical engineer, there's biomedical engineers, and then the 2 master students who are like great mentors. Anytime we say something, they won't say that our idea is wrong, but they'll be like, yeah, so technically that's not gonna work out. And it's great to have like you meet such great people through med design. So like I think as a BME, it's such a great experience, or just any major, like you said, art major, like that's great. Especially with like things like app designs and like UI. I think like having an art major, like a design major, honestly brings a lot to the table. I know I did a makeathon, and the person who did our UI and UX was like a design minor, so that was
Absolutely.
yeah. And okay, so I'm gonna finish this off with a little question. 3 words to describe your med design experience.
Yeah, I can start with that. I would say the first one is eye-opening. Just because again, you really don't know how much goes into the process of making something new like this until you actually do it.
Yeah. Eye-opening with a hyphen, right? So it's 1 word still.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. I'd say impactful, more so like from a personal standpoint of kind of like we were talking about it earlier, seeing really how the engineering fits into it all, and like reminding or showing me, helping me to understand like why I chose to do this major, and like making me really happy about it. And honestly, just really fun. Like MedDesign is a really great group of people, like you guys have both said. There's so many nice people in the club. You learn so many things from so many different types of people. And it's really been a great experience for me.
Yeah, no, that's great. And like being going from like a general member to president, how has that like transition been for you?
It's been great. I'm really fortunate that I have such a great team. Like Eddie's awesome. He does an amazing job as our treasurer. He's really on top of everything.
Hey, Eddie.
And I feel like my whole team is very supportive. So it really has not been a hard transition at all, just because I've had such a great group of people around me.
Would you see yourself in president freshman year? Like if like when you joined, would you believe if you said that, oh, like 2 years from now you'd be president?
No, definitely not. I mean, I feel like at that time, and even now, I feel like there's so many like smart, very qualified people that are in our major that I feel very fortunate that I got so lucky to be in this position.
Yeah, that's great. How about you, Eddie? 3 words. I'm sorry, I'm like putting you on the spot. You can also steal
Are you
math.
really? No, just kidding. Do the 3 words have to be like 3 separate words, or can it be like a phrase?
You can be a phrase, you know? Just lead
Okay.
it with it.
Okay. I would say connecting different backgrounds. Like as I said in the previous question, I think like one of the greatest things about med design is that we have such a diverse group of people. Like although we are like affiliated with the BME department, we're open to everyone with different majors and experience. And this is one of the things that we emphasize when we recruit new members. So I think this really collaborating with people like with such diverse backgrounds that it helps us think outside the box, and it really helps us explore different ways to solve problems when we develop our device. So yeah, I think that phrase really sums up my med design experience.
Yeah, no, honestly, like we were all talking about this. I know that there's like a curriculum and we're learning a lot, like going into the innovation space. But I honestly think we learned like almost just as much just from our peers because again, super diverse, like in age, experience, even within the same major. Like some people in BME or like in general are just like really experienced in one thing. Like I know Vitter, isn't he an AI minor? And he
Bitter
does
is just so smart. He's got like
yeah,
everything,
he
bro.
he knows everything. I know. It's like actually insane. But he's like phenomenal in the AI sphere. Like he knows everything under the sun about like every like machine learning algorithm to exist. He's like, yeah, no, that already exists. Or like, oh, we would be able to do that because of this caveat in like this section. And that's just so interesting. And then there's some people like the master students who like they are not as experienced in like the technical, like in the AI like sphere, but they are phenomenal at machinery. Like they know how to do it. They're like, oh, like we'd laser this here. We would, oh, the gross adjustment mechanism would be modified by this many inches. Oh, this metal alloy has obviously had the best experience in prosthetics and just bring that to the table. And then there's some people that have like great experience in like a more like cellular type of aspect. And they're like, oh, like this stent would elude this and this would have these kind of side effects. So just like even within a major, super diverse interests and like knowledge comes to the table. And like I swear I come to meeting every week and like learn something from someone. It's even if they're like not on my team, just like having a conversation, you're like, oh, that's like actually really cool. Yeah,
For
so
sure.
I agree, Eddie. Like that's a great way to describe it, honestly. Yeah, so to finish it off, anything else you want to share about what med design has brought to you or like give advice to future BMEs who possibly want to join med design?
Yeah. No, I would say as we've mentioned a couple times, maybe you don't get as a ton of hands-on experience in the first part of the BME curriculum, but I don't necessarily think that that's like a flaw in the design of the curriculum, just because there's so much to learn in BME. It's such a broad field. I mean, all right. It's this in within one kind of engineering, you go from building proteins at a micro scale to building a prosthetic leg, right? So those are such different things, but they all fall within biomedical engineering. So in your classes, you really do a lot of work to learn about a bunch of different areas of expertise within the field. And I really think that joining MedDesign is a super great way to start to apply some of that background knowledge that you gain in your classes toward one specific aspect of the field. So I'd recommend to anyone that's going to be a BME here at USC that they apply to MedDesign and participate in our club if you can. It really is a great experience and a great way to start getting some of that hands-on applied experience before later on in your career?
I would say don't be afraid to apply and join us because in my freshman year, I knew about med design, but I was a freshman. I was kind of scared of everything, like new environment, new people, everything. But yeah, as I said multiple times, med design, we're really open to anyone with all levels of backgrounds, technical skills, everything. So just don't be afraid, just apply. Yeah, join us in our journey.
Yeah, no, it's honestly like I've been in it for a semester and it's brought already so much. Like I'm also in a design competition now. Never would have imagined that, like even 6 months ago. So just brings everything to the table. So definitely, even non-BMEs, just med design is so great. Specifically for BMEs, it's a phenomenal experience, hands-on, and just you just meet a great group of like-minded individuals. So thank you guys so much for your time and sharing a little bit about med design. I hope that the BMEs listening are interested. But yeah, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Ishaani.
And we're back. Thank you so much, Ishaani, for bringing us that lovely episode. I love hearing about the other design teams. I've been in one, and it's like the only place where I really get to work with other engineering majors. So it's really cool seeing like you work with mechies. I don't know if I always like use abbreviations, and I don't know if people know what they are, but like
Mechanical
mechanical
engineers. Yes.
engineers.
Thank you for calling yourself out on that.
So, like, we all do it a lot. Like everyone will be like CS, ECE, CECS. Gets too much. Sorry, I'm like crying.
Oh, I thought you had something else to say. Like
No,
it
like
just
my
happened.
eye just keeps watering for some reason. So emotional.
Like, you got really emotional about your acronyms. I thought you had something else to say, and then you just stopped.
No, like my eyes are burning right now. I don't know why. So
All right,
it's
Shani.
okay.
So when you think about BME, biomedical engineering, and was this always what you wanted to do? Tell me about your journey of discovering yourself on the road to a biomedical engineering degree.
Yeah, it was so interesting because the school I came from, again, we talked about it, super small
Oh,
town.
Jesus, we're gonna go back into Gilmore Girls.
We
Anyways,
always
back at
come
Stars
back.
Hollow High School, I was hanging out
I
at
was just about
Theo's
to say
diner, and I was wondering, well, never mind.
But it was just wasn't, I would say it wasn't as academically focused as many schools that my friends went to. It was a very good athletic school, but I was trying to find out what I really enjoyed, and I was talking to my teachers about it because it was kind of a school where you like had to go out of your way to find out, like to talk to your teachers and like find out like what your passions were. So I think sophomore year I was taking AP Bio, and I like really got connected to my AP Biology teacher. And we were just like talking a lot, and I ended up doing like a little research thing with her on like a genomic pathway. And I thought that was super interesting. So I was like, oh my goodness, like I really want to go into bio, like I want to, pursue biology, human bio, like that's my path. And then see, junior year, I took AP Calc and I want to say I liked it even more than AP Bio. And I was like, you know what? Like I want to go into Calc, but I also still loved bio. So I was like, this isn't like, I feel like there's no intersection of these whatsoever, like ever down the line. So then I think I popped in like a Google search, I love calc and bio. What do I do? And I and I came up with, and then it started like popping out like quantitative bio, and then biomedical engineering came up. And as I was reading about biomedical engineering, I was like, wait, like I love, and it was like, it talked a lot about the engineering aspect. It talked about the different paths they had. So they have I know USC has the electrical emphasis, which is focusing on like, EEGs, like a lot of the electrical like sensors. They work a lot with Arduino. There's mechanical, which they work with like prosthetics, which is my project in med design. Which I also thought was super interesting. And then there's a molecular cellular pathway. So a lot of this is like tissue engineering, like drug delivery, nanoparticles. And I found that like the most interesting. And there's still a lot of math in it because, like the drug delivery systems, like you have to differentiate a lot to find like the optimal like delivery state for different like bodies. And I was like, you know what? Like I think this is where I want to go. So honestly, and also I biochemical engineering popped up and
Yeah.
biochemical specifically. So I actually applied biochemical engineering to USC because I think I'd also taken I'd also taken AP Chem at that time and I was like, wait, I
Yeah.
really like this
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And so I applied chemical engineering, chemical emphasis to USC because I was like, I feel like that encompasses everything that I enjoyed throughout high school. But as I was looking through the syllabus, I found that like I kind of wanted a little bit more of like a biology and the chemical engineering pathway had a lot of chemical engineering classes, and less like general bio or general like physiology. And there wasn't like a tissue engineering class like point blank, which there was in the biomedical engineering pathway, which I'm super excited to take BME 410, which is a tissue engineering class. So I switched. So once I got admitted to USC as a chemical engineering major, and then I was looking throughout the summer. I was just like really looking at labs and looking at classes, and I found that I liked the biomedical pathway a little better. And as Viterbi allows, once you're admitted into Viterbi, I internally transferred to biomedical engineering.
Great. From what?
From
I
chemical
lost the
engineering.
beginning.
Chemical
From
engineering.
chemical. Oh, you started chemical
I
engineering.
did start chemical engineering.
I
Yeah.
got so confused in that conversation. I was like, wait a minute. You started okay. So you started thinking chemical,
I
and then you
did.
moved over to biomedical. Got it.
Yep.
Because that confused, that was one of the reasons I brought this up, which is so many students I think are like you in that they come from this idea of I like life sciences
Mm-hmm.
and I like the idea of math and I want to figure out how to apply this appropriately. And I guess the main advice I would give, the summary that you gave is like, yeah, just look at the curriculum, see what excites you the most, and then go in that
100%.
direction. And if you realize that you're in the wrong one, you switch to the other one.
Switch. Yep.
Really nothing too complicated about it. And oftentimes people will be a little bit more confused because they'll come in saying, I like life sciences, so therefore I think I want to go to med school. And med school is still an opportunity at the end of these degree programs. So just realize that if you're thinking about med school, just put that to the side. Yeah, yes, any of these can go to
100%.
med school, but also it's figure out what you like doing, which I think is kind of cool.
It's so true.
But can you remember high school? Like high school is just a stressful time. You think you're supposed to have it all figured out.
Like
And
so
it's like once you guys
stressful.
get here, you guys are like, oh, it's
I did
cool.
not have
We
it
can
figured
relax a little bit.
Yeah. No. I during Discover, I was talking to some high schoolers and they were like telling me stuff that they were doing, and I was like, ew, that was a lot. Tough
Right.
time.
Right. So if you can, anyone out there, I think the main point is just kind of relax, look at what you
Yeah.
want to do and go after that. You're not supposed to have it figured out. And
No,
sometimes you're putting too much pressure on yourself.
exactly. I figured it out super late. Like I think I ran this Google search. I like calc, chem, and bio like the summer before my senior year. So like you don't have to have it all figured out. Like
Yeah.
freshman year, you step into the school.
I don't think I had it figured out until like last semester. So you guys are all good.
The key is you never have it figured out.
Yes, I was just saying, yeah.
It's your level of comfort with not having it figured out. You just kind
That's
of
very
keep
true.
going, and that's what you do, and you'll be fine. All right, cool. So this is officially our last conversation about Halloween, because
Yes.
while this episode is coming out after Halloween, we are recording it the day before Halloween. So Ishaani, you're the last person I get to ask this set of questions to. On a scale of cute to scary, how do you like your
Oh, no.
Halloween?
Ooh. I feel like I go like one day I'll do like a little cute outfit, and then the other one like I kind of want to be like, it's Halloween, like it should be a little scary. So one day like it'll be like very, very on the cute end. So like I don't know if cute is like 1 and scary is 10, it'd probably be like a 2, and then the other day it'll probably be like a 9.
Wow, a 9.
Yeah,
Okay,
a 9.
so do you like scary movies? Do you like getting scared? Do you like going to these like?
Absolutely terrified. No, no. Mm-mm.
Oh, I thought you
I
were
thought you were about to say you
say
absolutely
yes.
love it.
I was so happy.
No. My roommate though, same as she put me on Gilmore Girls, forcibly put me on horror movies. So
Mm.
yeah, I was made to watch a lot. There's one that I watched freshman year, the day before Thanksgiving break, where I was not going home and everyone else was going home.
Oh.
Slept alone in a room after watching, I think, the Conjuring Annabelle double feature. Safe to say, didn't sleep.
Oh my
That is
God.
not a good one to watch if you're gonna be home alone.
It was so
At all.
terrible. I think I followed it. I think I like woke up and I was like, I can't do this. So I watched Tangled. That's like a nice little like palate cleanser.
Tangled.
Yeah.
That's a good transition to new
It's so
topics.
good. Yeah.
Classic Disney movies. What is the go-to? What's the one that you like? What's the Disney vibe?
Tangled's
Tangled's a
a
good
solid
one.
one.
Mhm.
But like childhood nostalgia,
And it has like
The
some of the
Little Mermaid.
best Mm,
So
I don't know. I
Little
rewatched.
Mermaid beats Tangled.
No, in my opinion. So
I'm
It's just
asking
the
Ishaani.
childhood
She just brought it
nostalgia
up.
for me. Oh my goodness. Like
It's
I have
okay.
like,
You don't have to have justification. I'm just saying, like, you're gonna pick one. What's the go-to?
ooh, I feel like right now, honestly, Tangled.
Tangled. Okay.
Yeah.
Safia?
Angles. I feel like a lot of the older ones, even though they're nostalgic, I can't sit through them anymore.
Mm. I
Why?
can sit
Unless
through
it's like
that
a
one.
remake.
Oh, yeah, a lot of them remade. I like the Aladdin remake. I don't know if that's a hot take, but I like that one.
Oh, the Aladdin remake was pretty good. I
It
like
was
the
good.
Little Mermaid remake.
I have yet to watch it only because, again, nostalgia. I have like shelves on shelves on shelves of Little Mermaid toys. I had a Little Mermaid. I think I had two Little Mermaid birthdays. Like I was a fan if a fan
Oh,
ever existed. Yeah.
wait, that's so cute.
Can I throw out a theory?
Yeah.
Were you guys born in 2004, 2005?
2004.
2003.
Ooh.
So you were 6 and 7 when Tangled came out. You were just kind of at that exact moment when
Mm,
that movie came out. And so I have a
Yeah.
feeling it just hits because it's the first one that hit you. Like maybe you went to the theater for that one and it was like the
Yeah.
first big experience. I'm just throwing that out there as a
I think
theory.
that might have been the
I
first thing
was
I watched in
6
theaters.
or 7 when it came
That's
out. That's
crazy.
insane.
I
It
feel
came
like I
out in
was like
2010.
10. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I do
I
remember
feel like I
watching
was
that
like
in theaters.
12.
So
I don't think I watched
I
it in
think it just
theaters.
got embedded into your like core memory. Like that was it
That
right
definitely could
there.
be true. That definitely could be true.
Now I feel like too psychoanalyzed. Like I'm like speechless.
I thought I was like 10 when I watched
I
Tingle too.
I
I'm like
I
kind of
throw that
shocked right now.
Me too. I'm really thrown off right now.
I just it was a theory because you both said Tangled and you both identified. I'm like, hold on a second. When did this come out? So I Googled it real quick. And I looked, I'm like, wait a minute, you guys were born around the same time. So is that right? And I have a feeling that might be why.
That
And then very
honestly
quickly
might be
you grow
why.
out of that period.
Yeah.
And then you start to identify with something else. And so therefore anything that comes out between 2014, 15 and today is kind of a loss, right?
Yeah. You were
Yeah,
saying.
Just a
I
guess.
and I feel like it's true. Like a lot of people that you ask around our age will say Tangled.
they will say Tangled. Yeah,
It's always like Tangled, Little Mermaid. I don't know why.
yeah,
Well, Little Mermaid's probably something that your parents like was really
Yeah.
comfortable watching with you,
yeah.
and that identified for them because that came out in 1992 or
Oh,
89, I think,
wow.
actually.
I
Actually,
did
I don't know.
Oh,
not
I
realize it
also
was that
I
loved
gotta
old.
Google that
Beauty
now.
and the Beast.
Oh, that was so good. I think a lot of the playlists
Beside,
also
like
factor
from the old
into,
ones, Beauty and the
yeah,
Beast was the best.
Beauty and the Beast was phenomenal.
Yeah, Little Mermaid came out in 89.
That's crazy.
So
It's
that's
insane.
roughly when your parents were 12.
My
That's
parents were
wow.
old.
No, your parents were older than that. So, but it was an iconic one. And at that time, there weren't as many animated films. So that kind of becomes a thing and goes
Yeah.
forward.
Wow.
So it's all just a question of the window of time and where you're at.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I also really like Princess and the Frog, but that one's like a later one. That's like
Yeah,
2009,
yeah, I was gonna say
2010.
this
Did you
later
just
one.
Google it?
Yeah, I'm like looking at all of them now.
How is that
Yeah.
later? 2010. That's the exact same time as Tangled.
It feels like completely different times. It
feels
feels
like
like
different
Princess and the Frog
eras.
came out when I was like 14. Like,
No, I like
Princess
this
and the
is
Frog came out in 2009. So that was the 2009 Disney movie and the 2010 Disney movie. So essentially, you're like 6 and 7.
wait, Beauty and the Beast came out.
A
Wow, I'm like
long time
really,
in the
this
80s
is
or
crazy.
91 maybe. 90?
Frozen was
Can't
another good
remember. It was
one.
Oh,
after Little Mermaid.
91.
Yeah,
Frozen.
When
That
did
was
Frozen
good.
come out? Frozen came out late, right?
I
Frozen
want to say
came
it
out
was
when you
late, but
guys
I'm
were
too
like
scared to
babies.
say.
So that's like
2013, 2013.
Okay, I feel better. I feel
Solid
better.
10
Frozen.
and 11, or 9
Yeah,
and
I was
10.
in fourth grade. I
Frozen
remember I was
came
in
out in
fourth grade.
2013.
Yeah.
But you don't identify with that. Were you past it at that point?
No, I
No, I
You
really
identify.
liked
it.
You're
Frozen
I
at the
younger.
really liked
time.
Frozen. Yeah, I think it was like, yeah, I still really
But if
enjoy it.
I
I
was
actually
gonna
rewatched it.
rewatch one, oh no, go ahead.
I rewatched it with
Please
I
go.
rewatched Frozen 1 and Frozen 2 with my sister this summer. And yeah, they were good. But I think
Oh.
we were trying to find Tangled. I'm not gonna lie, we were trying to find Tangled. We only found the Frozen DVDs, but it was fun. We enjoyed them.
I feel like also Tangled is still at least based on something that like had previous backing. Like Frozen was just a new one, so I feel like it
Yeah.
like Tingle still feels more nostalgic, quote unquote.
I agree. Yeah, I read the Little Rapunzel book
Because of
when I was younger.
Like Rapunzel and
they're both based on fairy tales.
what's Frozen based off of?
Frozen is it's the
It's the Snow Queen by Hans
Snow
Christian
Queen.
Andersen.
Yeah,
Oh,
I just
so
never read
true.
that
The
one.
other one's,
Me
the other one's a
neither.
Grimm story, the Rapunzel.
Yeah,
so-
it was. Oh my gosh, I
Yeah.
remember we had like a Grimm for children, but I don't know how for children you can make Grimm because they were pretty brutal
Grimm is
too.
disgusting.
It's
Grimm is
disgusting.
brutal.
My mom had
and
to hide the book. She was like, "I need you to stop reading this." It was like I read I read the original Little Mermaid before I watched the movie. So I think that's also might be why I like the movie
That's Hans
so
Christian
much.
Andersen.
Yeah, it
That's Hans
was.
Christian Andersen, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was pretty bad. It was rough. Like
Hans
she
Christian
like
Andersen is better than Grimm.
Grimm.
But like German fairy tales, like Snow
Oh.
White or Cinderella, like, it is bad. It is-
Yeah.
Do you know why she's called Cinderella? I just discovered this.
Because of this the cinder.
Cinder?
Yeah, I
right?
had no
Because she's
idea when I was a
cleaned
kid
up.
growing up.
Yeah.
From
Yeah,
like
I
she was
know.
filthy from ash because of the cinders. I'm like, gee, oh my God. This is
Yeah.
disgusting. Again, hard-hitting commentary and discussion here on the Gilmore Girls Disney animated podcast. The stuff you come for. Last question. When a Disney movie comes out now, or
Mhm.
like that big animated film comes out, are you guys skipping it? Is it just not in your wheelhouse now? Like you don't think about it twice.
Mm.
I think when it's
I couldn't even
like the
name a
second
recent one that
part.
come out.
Yeah, I can't name a recent one. If it's like Frozen 2, again, this definitely came out in like 2019 or something. I remember watching Frozen 2 in theaters. I know
Frozen 2, yeah,
Zootopia 2.
2019. You killed that.
Oh, okay. Zootopia 2, I know is coming out. That I will watch because I loved Zootopia 1.
Is that Disney?
Is it? I want to say it is, but maybe
Zootopia
I'm
is Disney.
lying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
See that
Oh,
I'll watch.
by the way, I was in Shanghai. I went to Shanghai Disneyland, and I went
Yeah.
to they have
Mm.
Zootopia Land now, which is the
No
only
way.
place
That's so
in the
cool.
world that has it, and it was
Yeah.
insane. Like it's like
That's
you're
so cool.
standing in the middle of that city. It was super
That's
super cool.
crazy.
I've never
Yeah.
watched Zootopia. I can't lie.
You never watched Zootopia? Zootopia is
So
great,
that one is really good. That one is really good, I won't lie.
and they're
My
making
When did
family
sequels
enjoys
right
Zootopia
now
even come
too.
out?
Zootopia? Oh,
2016.
yeah, that was good.
How old was I? 13. Yeah, I never watched it.
I watched in theaters for my friend's
Yeah, you missed-
birthday.
Yeah,
missed
so I guess
things.
I'm like, I haven't watched Moana. I'm missing things.
What? I watched that
else
one in
have I
theaters
watched?
too. That was good.
I've watched Inside Out. I watched Inside
Okay.
Out 2
Yeah.
as well, which that came out this
Yeah.
summer,
Oh
right?
yes, I did. I watched that one in theaters. I think I'll watch twos,
So-
but I don't know if I'm as receptive to watching like new Disney because it's kind of flopped.
Mm.
But did you just call Pixar different than Disney? Is that what you're thinking? Because you liked Inside Out.
No, I think like the newer
I've-
Disney. Sorry.
No.
No,
Go
keep
ahead.
going.
Like the newer there was I don't know what it was called. Wish, I think. I
Oh,
started
it was really
it.
bad.
Yeah,
was
it
really
was
bad.
so bad. So I think I'm like I'll watch.
Is it the one with like the fire girl and the
No, that was
I know
Elemental.
that was
Oh,
yeah.
never mind.
Also
That was a
didn't watch
Pixar
that
movie.
one.
That was actually really good too. It
Really?
that was
Okay.
good. That was good.
Yeah, it got lost in a bunch of other elements.
Movies, yeah. Yeah.
Good
That was not what I meant.
one.
That's not what I meant. I said it and I laughed to myself because I didn't mean it. Zootopia is a good one if you're going to go back and watch anything. Like that was a solid. I didn't expect it to be good, and because I'm on the other end of this, which is like that's what I grew up with, and then I missed a bunch, and then what my daughter's growing up with, and then rewatching things and realizing that like rewatching something is not as good, and you're like in a completely different lens. You're like, yeah, we don't need to see that again. Like there's multiple movies where I'm like, we don't ever need to see that again. Like the messaging specifically for girls is way off. And it's like, we don't need to ever watch that again or ever watch it for the first time. And then new movies have a completely different vibe. So many different cool messages. And like, I never thought Frozen was going to be something that I would like. Obviously, I didn't care. It was before my daughter was born. And then she's born and she loves, it's a cool story. It's a cool thing. And Frozen 2 is really cool. And Inside Out's amazing. And Inside Out 2. And all these things are just really cool. Elemental is really, really cool, actually. It has a whole bunch of different things to it that are pretty neat.
Yeah.
But it got lost. Zootopia is amazing. Go for Zootopia. Go watch that. It's a good one. It's funny.
Absolutely.
It's super funny. All right. That's it. I got to run. I'm late for my next meeting, but I appreciate you being here and I appreciate for the hard hitting conversation, and our spinoff Gilmore Girls / Disney animation conversation will continue on in future episodes. Ishaani, thanks so much for being here, and thank you for listening. We will be back next week with a whole new episode of Viterbi Voices. Bye.